phase 1, phase 2. If I achieved it, I write that sucker, wipe it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get that sucker off there. Like, how I know a lot of people are very curious, as am I. What does a week look like for Adley Stump? Like, do you take to the whiteboard and say, I'm going to throw a tomato on my ceiling this week? Or, or I'm going to bust my hump trying to run in the bathroom, or I'm going to do the koala challenge with my fiance Blake. I mean, what does that look like, or where does this come from? Talk to us about that creative process.
There's so many different hats. So, you know, part of it, we'll just talk about the content creation side, because for the Adley show on Facebook, I'm trying to do a video every day. It's just 98% of the world is just consuming content more than ever right now. We've tried as a producer to produce. So we've doubled or tripled our numbers as far as output and the effects of that. But it's trying to stay inspired. It's like music. When you're being told to go sit in a room, write a great song, you're like, because it's not a very inspiring place. Yeah. But kind of the best way that we craft our content is by taking really everyday relatable moments, like, and then 10xing them, then just exaggerating the heck out of them to have kind of that viral shareable feel. So like, I really want a pet, and Blake's like, I don't really want a dog. So I turn our apartment into a barnyard for a day, you know, taking things that are shareable, that, oh my gosh, this is so me, this is so you, I'm so gonna do this. But especially during quarantine, we pivoted the content a little bit to things that families can go do together. We've done a lot of challenges. And so I have so many people tagging me, like, my family tried this challenge tonight, we've done this one, I'm doing this on my dad tonight. And that's been so much fun to be able to be somebody that people watch, that they can watch with their families, and then take and implement that into their own lives. That's so important to me, because like, my life is not, people look and think that it's so this glamorous thing. And I'm like, it's not. It's literally a choice to take everyday situations and things that are seemingly insignificant and make those moments significant. That's up to you. So we'll make content that is very relatable, that anybody could literally just put a different filter on their life and find the humor in it. You know, my mom taught me how to find the humor, or most of the time create it. I love
your mom. I love your mom.
She's great. She's great. But from an early age, she was pranking me, showing me how to find and identify and create humor in any situation. And so that's for my comedy or entertainment now, being able to see and identify those things that can help. My goal is that it can help and encourage other people to find confidence in their own authenticity and their own abilities, to be able to say, Adley's life doesn't look that much different than mine. So why does she feel different? Why does it look and seem different to me when I'm doing most of the stuff in my house? They have all the same stuff. It's literally just a choice to see your life a different way and to choose joy in every circumstance. Just change the filter, change the narrative.
You know, yeah, love you for that.
Got you.
Love you for that. You just nailed it, because one of the things I love about you is, so you use stories on Instagram a lot. And what I've noticed, what I take from it, because look, my friend Melanie Reese is this awesome therapist, and she talks about these filters that we all have. So you may say something, but because of what I went through, you know, I filter it the way I filter it, right? Or I take from it what I need. And here you are making these funny videos. But if you take time to go through your stories, you spend, I don't know how much time it takes, but it's thoughtful. And I think it's awesome. And there's a lot of motivation inside those stories. They're other people's stories, or sayings, they're whatever. You tag the person, and it's faith, and it's hope, and it's peace, and it's all those things. So it's almost like you came for the show, but then you get all the rest of the good stuff.
Yeah.
And I love that about you, because I've always said, every time we have a powwow or we meet, you know, last time we said A is for authentic. Like the A in Adley is for authentic. And so you're not a one-trick pony, Adley. You're not. You talked about that. You're so many things, but they come for the laughter, but they get the motivation as well. At least I do.
I'm so glad to hear you say that, because that is my goal. Is like, humor casts such a wide net, but then there's a heart. Like it's, for me, it's this balance of humor and heart. So while humor casts that wide net, my goal is that if you've been around me or on my Instagram or Facebook for a couple days or so, you realize that there is more depth there than just being a silly blonde, you know. Mm-hmm. But there's hopefully a message that can be extracted from that that's a little bit more intentional.
Oh, you're for sure. Now, you did do a great bit about with microphones and what we're supposed to be doing during quarantine. I'm not even going to try to do it because it was so funny, but it was so like most of us feel, do I do this? Do I not do that? Do I do that? Do I wear this? Do I go here? Do I not? And you ended up on Good Morning America and other outlets. I mean, I know you've been on The Voice, so I'm not going to say it's old hat, but you've been on national television before, but how did that make you feel to know that people around the world were watching and giggling alongside you?
Oh my gosh. Like Rachel, when I say that piece changed my life, that piece changed my life. The amount of conversations and people that I am working with now, like I can't, give me 2 weeks, give me 2 weeks. But it's absolutely changed my life. It's like that, 8-year overnight success. And I'm not saying that it's like it's
good stuff. Listen,
it's such good stuff. Let me
give you permission. Let me do something real quick. I think as women, sometimes we're conditioned to like downplay our goodness, our happiness, our beauty, our joy, our success. And I just want to give you like permission for a moment to revel in that. Because you have worked hard, you have pivoted, you have looked in the mirror, you talked about your bankruptcy, you have done that, you've come up. So I just want to give you a moment just to like go crazy and be like revel in it because you deserve every bit of it, my friend.
Thank you. I'm so excited. Yes. That's how I feel though. That's a great observation that it's hard when other people almost have this narrative of you too. You know, I'm surrounded by a lot of people, especially really, really struggling right now, in that you don't want to say that things are going well, that God has used this time to, because that's not happening for most people. Right.
Yeah. And I think that's a thing too. I think it's right now, but I also think it's a thing like with women, when I speak to queens, we've been conditioned, we're T-O-O, too loud, too this, too short, too skinny, too this, too smart, too uneducated, too. And I go in there and tell them, you are enough. Yeah. And it's quite okay for you to love yourself. It's quite okay for you to see yourself as a queen. That's not egotistical. That means you have standards and boundaries by which you'll let people treat you and that you celebrate yourself. And you know, in all the world, there is not another Adley. In all the world, nobody else could do what you did with that bit and make people laugh and bring people together and have this success. And God is smiling on you, Ad.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, sister. Thank you. You're such a loud and beautiful voice in this world that women especially need in all the people that you touch, all of the people that you touch. But it's so needed because like that just spoke to me so much because it's one thing to be respectfully quiet when things are going well and other people are struggling. It's not like, hey, well, things are great for me, you know? And it's also, it's a balance of being grateful, knowing that the goodness that is happening right now is partly just a long time building, you know, and then things kind of accumulating. It all happens very slow. And then all of a sudden, you know, I feel like success is that way a lot. It's very, very slow. And then all of a sudden, sin is that way too. But so many things just work with that passion or that pattern. And so it's like, it just makes me smile because I feel like I can talk about these things so openly. One, because I'm like, this wasn't my timing. This was his timing. Yeah. You know, and if he's blessing me at this time, it's again, not for myself. It's so that I can help other people during this time. Maybe that's why. And so, I don't know, when I don't make it about myself in this whole personal gain, it makes me excited for the blessing because I know what he's going to be able to do with it.
Amen. And you do that all the time. I see you. By the way, if you're just joining us and halfway through and you have not gone, she has the most unique name, Adley. Just go look her up on any platform. You'll laugh, you'll smile, you'll be inspired. I've seen you do that. I've seen you say, hey, I'm going to give this away. I got this. I'm going to give this away. This is what I can give, and I'm going to give it to multiple people. And I love that about you, because the blessing, and you said it earlier, is not for you. When my whole life monumentally changed, we would not be sitting here today. We would not be friends if I had never met a man named Kevin Turner, who taught me the greatest secret to life. And that is, it's not about you. You were not born for you. And once you figure that out, it doesn't mean you can't have nice things and goals and all of those things. But it means that you were not born for you. You were born to leave a legacy. You were born to change someone's life. And that might be the child that you raise. That might mean whatever it may mean, right? The husband, the wife that you love, or the partner you love, whatever it is, the movement you start, but you were born to leave a legacy. And I think the success is going to keep coming and coming for you, because you do have that mindset of, it's going to flow through my hands and not stop in my hands.
Ooh, love that. Yeah. Love that. And that's the more you can be surrounded by that mentality. So many people don't have that type of preaching in their life, which is why you've made, I imagine, a mission to do it for so many people, to be that mentor from afar to so many people. And so just, if you don't have somebody that's preaching like Rachel's preaching right now into your life, have those mentors from afar. You can control your inputs, listen to podcasts, read books, block out that negativity as much as you can, because those inputs, like we were saying earlier, they become your reality. They frame your filter. So the more that you can control what comes in and make sure it is positive and life-giving, pour that into your life and let that become your filter.
I have to remember this moment with you, because it wasn't just a moment on stage, and you'll have to tell our listeners and our viewers about this, but you were somewhere and there was rain on the stage and you slipped and fell, but girl, you got back up. You got back up and you started dancing, and it was the best thing I've ever seen, because at some points in my life, I would have fallen and ran off the stage. I don't know that I would have had the gumption to get back up and dance like you did. I think there's a big lesson in that, Ad.
Yeah. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. It was a steel stage, and it was pouring rain. Like the drum head filled up 3 inches in like 10 minutes. I'm in all white, of course. We're playing for the military. We're up at Fort Campbell, and I'm just drenched, but everybody's still out there. It was the funnest show. But yeah, in wedges, did a little spin, whoop, legs out, like just gone, done, bam, bam, bam. Kevin Hart style. She wasn't ready. Like, it was so bad. But the show must go on. It must go on. And it was really funny. That was a good memory. Of course, there's the embarrassment, but when you now make a living kind of with the self-deprecating humor, just like content. My life is true.
Listen, I would have been embarrassed for you if you had run off the stage. Like I said, I would have at one point in my life, but you just kept dancing. And so for me, that was everything, Ad. That was everything. Let me ask you this. We like to leave our listeners, we like to ask our guests a couple of questions so that you can pour into them. What is one way we preach? We're real big on self-care in this movement. What is a couple of things, something you do, Add, to take care of yourself and to check in with yourself all the time, but especially during quarantine?
That's great. One of the things that I did was I just got a 21-day sober challenge. Okay. It's like when everybody's given themselves permission to lean into the drinking more than that, our alcohol sales have spiked. And being in the world of entertainment, it's become just like a second nature. This is keeping it real. Something that's just so in our lives and not even thinking about having drinks every day. And I felt it in a dream. This is part of the weird God teaching me how to hear his voice lately thing. But it was twice in a dream. And I would just have a couple glasses of wine at night. And so it was less about the alcohol. It was more of, will you listen to me? When it seems like, what is the big deal with me having a glass of wine at this really nice dinner or with my friends? Like, what's the harm in that? And that's how I feel. Those are my emotions. Don't listen to your emotions. You're about to have a lot of chatter in your life. I need you to learn what obedience feels like. 1, learn how to identify my voice. 2, before I let you do anything outward, because I was expecting what he was asking of me was going to be some outward gesture. Mm-hmm. First thing he asked of me, then I felt it clear as day, was inward. I'm going to refine you first. I'm going to make sure that you are trustworthy in the little things and that you're going to listen to me, even when you don't understand, Even when your emotions and people around you are telling you something different, are you going to listen to me? So even in day 15, I was like, why? This is not that big of a deal. It was obedience. And it's not about the what it is. It's not about the subject matter. It's about listening, because I see what's coming down the road. Will you listen and trust me to take you there? So it was just obedience in that. The day I finished that sober challenge, just for my own health and just kind of doing a zig to everything I was seeing right now. Just do the hard thing. Go the exact opposite. There was a 21-day challenge. On day 22, that video went viral globally. Day 22, floodgates opened.
Total chills.
I do too every time I tell it. And I'll be able to tell you what happened after that it's equally as monumental in my life. But I was like, okay, well, listen, in January, I heard just as audibly, start tithing. And it was very, very clear in my gut, like tithed. Next month, our inputs doubled. Yeah. I was like, okay, tithed again, doubled again. Yeah. Tithed again. I was like, what? Tripled. Yeah. It's like, okay, very clear. I heard that. I responded against all the chatter and my emotions of I don't have enough and blah, blah, blah. And it's continued to grow. Next thing I heard was 21-day challenge, refining what that voice looks like and how I feel. So I'll be able to identify it against all the other chatter and trust. He's proven to me twice, now 3 times, that it is his voice, and to lean into that. And it's been one of the most wildest experiences of my life the last 5 months.
If I may, I just want to say this. I've heard that voice before too, when it comes to tithing. And he told me, because I hear it audibly too, he said clearly I was giving a tithe on what I had after I paid all my bills.
Yeah.
He said to me, why are you robbing me? When I clearly gave you the opportunity to make this money in the first place. And I went,
okay. I'm trying to figure out how to make it a write-off now. Like, how can we make the tithe a write-off? And I don't know what gray area that's. But the point is, the heart is good. Yes. And you only have one you. When it comes to self-care, you in your gut know what you need to be doing. And you're going to have a bunch of different emotions and a bunch of different filters and a bunch of different opinions come over that. Try. And it's a practice every day to get in the mirror and love and approve of yourself. And you might do it for 5 minutes straight. Can't get through it without crying. Can't get through 30 seconds of it without crying at first. But you just keep doing it. And love you. You have to learn to love you first, because you teach the world how to love you. Yes. You teach them what that looks like. If you say that you can't do it, we believe you. If you say that you're not good enough, pretty enough, strong enough, we believe you. Like, why would we not? You know, no one for a long period of time is going to believe in you enough, do the work enough, if you keep crapping on yourself. Yes. All right. So you've got to get to this place where you learn to love yourself. And that is a practice, and it's a lot of unlearning more than it is learning. And that just comes back to controlling your inputs. And listen, I'm preaching to myself too. I know this to be the truth. It's still a practice that I walk through every single day.
Adley, I think we need to add motivational speaker to your cadre of talents. I'm seriously, you are great. Like you're funny, you're motivated. I mean, seriously, you could definitely do that. So just think about that in the future. Last question for you before I let you get out of here. What is something you're focusing on, your intention on a Sunday? A lot of times we get serious about the week. That's why I chose to do this video on Sundays instead of Monday morning motivation. Monday, you already got it set. Most of us do. You know what you got to do. You're out there running. You're doing your thing. But on Sunday, you're getting contemplative. You're writing on your whiteboard. Maybe you're resting in the recliner, spending some time with family, going to church, whatever that looks like for you. What's something Adley is focusing on this week, going into the week?
That's a great question. I've been very diligent every night. One, because I can't sleep if I don't get things out of my head, because otherwise they're stirring in my spirit, my subconscious, and I can't sleep. Even if I don't think I'm thinking about it, my subconscious is working on it. So a lot of it's journaling for me, and writing out my intentions. This week, I would say there's some negotiations that we're in the middle of that I'm constantly in this practice right now of zooming out. Because it's so easy right now to be caught in the day-to-day of, especially my friends that are single moms. My heart is like breaking for them right now, because every day seems like they're waking up just trying to figure out how to entertain their kids in homeschool and having no help and exhaustion. And then their kids are bickering because there's nothing else to do because they're bored and out of routine, and just constantly trying to zoom out and look at your life from a third-party perspective, at the gifts that you have, the talents that you have, pros and cons of situations. And it really helps you to remove the emotion from the situation and make better decisions and get clarity on what you want. Yeah. Because you're not here to live an unblessed, hard life. You have gifts. And so being able to step out of your current circumstance and have a vision past your current circumstance, again, is a practice. And so it's so hard to do when you're in the middle of just life as it is, just day, like Groundhog Day right now. So on Sundays, if you can zoom out and take this analytical practice of observing yourself and write down a list of pros and cons about your situation and measure it against where you want to go. You do this a lot with like the king and queen stuff. It's just kind of teaching people how to, okay, if you want to attract this into your life, what are you putting out there? Mm-hmm. And so I think a practice of taking self-care and marrying it with self-awareness to do the work, to see what you're attracting into your life. Are you like being negative all day about your current circumstance? Well, then that's the filter you're looking at things through. That's your focus. And whatever you focus on becomes magnified. Yeah. So I'm in this practice right now. One issue is breaking my heart, seems so big to me. And so I'm focusing on it. And the more focus I give it, as far as attention, when it's negative, I need to fix it. But when I'm just fixated on the problem instead of the solution, it breaks my heart. I get very sad, I get depressed, and I can spiral down for days when I'm focusing on that instead of, holy crap, here's all this golden amazingness that is the rest of my life and opportunity and health and have a job. And like, what are you focusing on? So if you're stuck in that rut this week, maybe try and make it a diligent decision to focus on something else. Focus on an opportunity in your life. Focus on what you're grateful for instead of the problem that you're trying to solve or what's hurting your heart right now.
As we say goodbye, please give Blake, your fiance, a hug for me and tell him I knew back then, even on the third date, I knew when you were in a bunny suit, a pink bunny suit, that you two lovebirds were meant for each other.
I knew it too. It's weird. They always say when you know, you know. And I was like, I don't know if it's ever going to happen for me like that. And I'm not even going to say it happens for everybody like that. That it's just this like, no, pretty quick. But I feel like God's had to learn through thick-headed people that are stubborn, be like, I'm going to have to make this painfully obvious. Fine, he's the one. You know? And so I'm so thankful for that boy. I will tell him you said hello.
Please do. Adley, thank you for spending so much time with me. If somehow you have missed her, you have got to go follow her right now, Adley. The Adley Show. She's on every platform that you can imagine, and she's so funny and so inspiring. And I'm so grateful that she's my friend, that she pours into me. And
I'm just trying to keep up with you. Is what I was going to say.
Hey, ditto. I like watching stuff like yes. I share it. I do all these things. And speaking of that, please, if you love this, if you are inspired, please share. You know, I say this all the time. We have the power to change somebody's life. A post, a podcast, a song, something that you share on your site, on your personal websites or your socials. You don't know who's going to see that and who needs to see that. I've gotten so many of these stories. So please like, subscribe, share, because somebody needs to see it. And heck, we hope that we inspired you today. Adley, thank you so much.
Thank you, sister. Love you.
I love you too.